Today we're doing two NBA player props here on PrizePicks for Friday, April 18th. We got the two final planned games for that 8th seed. Before we get started, you guys, link in the description below of this video. Hop into the Discord, $9.30 per month, 31 cents per day. That is where I post all the plays that I'm making on PrizePicks. Again, currently doing a promo right now for first-time members of the Discord. 20% off your first month. Comes out to like $6-7, depending on the state you're in, for taxes. But $6-7 for the first 30 days. With the link in the description below, using promo code TUFF. Also to mention, I'm not a gambling expert, not financial advice, simply just plays I'm personally looking at making. Hopefully give you guys some insight and analysis to make your own player prop decisions here. Again, no one's pressing submit on those parlays other than yourselves. But let's get right into it, you guys. Again, like I said, two play-in games. Hopefully both these games are competitive. We saw those games a few days ago. I think those matchups at Dallas, Sacramento, was a blowout, and then the other game was Memphis Golden State was a good game. I forget the other two matchups, but we saw two blowouts or two pretty non-competitive games. So hopefully we get competitive ones in this one. Both these players are gonna be fantasy scores, I think, that are a little bit too low for both these guys. Let's get into it. First one's gonna be Onyeka Okongwu, over 34 fantasy. He was in some foul trouble. Well, first looking at this game, 1.5 point spread, I believe. 1.5 point spread. Let's see. I don't know why RotoWire wasn't showing the spread. 1.5, 218.5 game total. Home game for Atlanta as well. But Onyeka, he was in foul trouble in that game, I believe. Pretty early against Orlando. I think he only played like 13 minutes in the first half. Still finished with 33 minutes. So I think without foul trouble, Onyeka in this game without Clint Capella should be seeing, north of 36, maybe even 40 plus minutes. Obviously, this is a last game of the season potentially. So, everything, Larry Nance is out, Clint Capella's out. Projected minutes on RotoWire has Onyeka for 36 minutes. I could see that being the floor for him in this one if he does stay out of foul trouble. Which is why, we take a look really quickly at his splits home versus away. He plays a lot better at home. More points, more rebounds, more assists. Steals and blocks pretty similar, but also just is a little bit more aggressive overall. A little bit more field goal attempts, more field throw attempts, and it obviously shoots the ball a lot better at home compared to on the road. But like I said, 36 minutes for Onyeka. Let's give him a floor of, at minimum 32 minutes. Which again, he's over in 9 of 13 games this season when he plays 32 minutes, averaging 43.4 fantasy. He's had a couple rough games here. Obviously, Brooklyn and Orlando are very tough matches for the center position. Miami and Portland here, he's obviously facing Miami in this one. But nonetheless, we take a look here at home this season when he plays 32 plus minutes. The hit rate is elite, right? 4 or 5, averaging 41.6 fantasy. Clearly over in all four of these overs that he did have. Even if we go back to last season, which he didn't have a ton of games when he played 32 plus minutes at home. But again, this has a decent hit rate as far as a high floor. Given 25, obviously that's last season to this season. And in this one now, he's got no Clint Capella. But again, at home, 4 or 5. Overall, 9 of 13. Let's just give him 36 minutes, 35 minutes. He's over in 5 of 5, averaging 50.6 fantasy points. Again, this is Outlier, by the way. Link in the description below, 7-day free trial. Love Outlier. I use it on a regular basis. But yeah, when he plays 35 plus minutes, he's over in 5 of 5 games, and you can see these fantasy score totals for him. Other centers, fantasy score, game log this season versus Miami. It's a pretty decent hit rate, over 34 fantasy. Both these Vucevic guys, it clearly smashed this over on them. Dembona 35.7, Karl-Anthony Towns 35, Jaren Jackson 42, Zubats 42, Karl-Anthony Towns 38, Turner 35. When Okongwu down here 35.3. And going back to the head-to-head versus Miami this season, if we just get rid of all filters, let's just get rid of all the filters just to see straight up how he's done against Miami. This season versus Miami, he's over in 2 of 3 games, 35.3 and 29.8. I think the only game without Clint Capella, or actually, let's see, we can filter this here with games without Clint Capella. This is why Outlier is so great. Without Clint Capella, only one game without Clint Capella, 29.8 fantasy against Miami. But again, he's going to see the minutes upside because this is, again, a do-or-die game, as to put out there, effective size at least. And with Ware and Bam Adebayo on Miami, they're going to need Okongwu on the floor. Per 36 minutes, too, this season, or really over like the last 60 days with Capella off the floor, Okongwu averages 40.9 fantasy points per 36, 1.1 fantasy points per minute. So, again, that's the first play. I just think it's a little bit too low of a line. I think this line should be like at 36.5, in my opinion. Second one's going to be another fantasy score line. It's going to be PJ Washington over 30 fantasy score. I was debating Anthony Davis 52.5, but after just doing some research, I mean, that's a 22.5 point difference between AD and PJ, but I do like PJ here a lot. So one, he's a lot better on the road. Obviously, I don't know why players are sometimes just better on the road, more points, more rebounds, more assists on the road compared to at home. A little bit more aggressive as well, 2.6 more field goal attempts compared to 10.9 at home. But I just love the spot given the usage and the minutes that he is going to see, right? He's coming off that first playing game against Sac. He played 37 minutes, most on the team, took 15 field goal attempts, did not really shoot the ball that well, but took 37 minutes on the floor, which PJ Washington loves him. I think given the team that Memphis has, there's no reason he's not going to play 36 plus minutes again in this one. And the hit rate when he does play those type of minutes is strong. First of all, PJ in this kind of new Mavs offense is now a small forward with AD, Derek Lively, and Gafford. He plays the three, like he's more of a wing now, more than as opposed to sometimes he was even playing center this season. In the Grizzlies, you can see here most points, second most rebounds, fourth most assists allowed to that position, small forward position, right? Wings, forward wings that play more on the wing, right? Not more traditional power forwards that play more, I guess, interior in the paint. So PJ Washington, given that he's playing more on the wing, we look at, his fantasy score game log this season. Obviously, Dallas has had a ton of moving parts. He's over already in 31 of 58, right? Given all the moving parts they've had. But let's give him 34 minutes, right? 23 of 31 this season, averaging 36 fantasy points. But over his last 20, he's just been on fire. 16 of 20. Look at the hit rate on this line when he plays 34 plus minutes, right? Obviously, without Kyrie, without Luka, this has a different type of hit rate. But again, we look at PJ still without Luka and Kyrie and with AD on the floor this season. 7 total games for him, 35.5 fantasy points per 36 minutes, 1 point fantasy points per minute. Also has a very strong hit rate this season versus Memphis, 43 and 43 fantasy points in 2 matchups versus Memphis this season. Again, other forwards fantasy score game logs versus Memphis this season as well. Just absolute monster games from similar type of position that PJ plays. Aaron Gordon 45, Randall 51, Asar Thompson 44, Jimmy Butler 47, Draymond Green 49, Tatum 43, LeBron 53, Kawhi 40, Danny Avdija 64, DeMar DeRozan 43.2. Like, again, PJ in this offense is like a wing, right? He's a scoring wing. I think offensively he's going to be that second option to AD. So I think this line is too low. 2 player props, NBA playing Friday, April 18th. Please drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let's cash.